First of all, let me begin with congratulating all of you to being here and having this opportunity of wearing formal clothes, good suits, good saris, and everything, and arriving and going to the Dholpur house and entering via the main gate, whereby people are asked to enter after the qua- qualifying mains. It's a great opportunity, and you should first cherish this. Take a moment for yourself and say that you have worked really hard, and this is a good opportunity to actually uh, congratulate yourself and your family as well, who were always there with you throughout this journey. Being said that, only half part is done. People would say that means ho hi gaya, ab to ho hi jayega, but this doesn't work. Like many of you who are appearing for the second or the third interviews would be knowing that still a monumental task is to be left. Main thing to understand here is creating 40 marks difference in mains is a big challenge. It's a herculean task, but creating 40-50 marks difference in interview is a cakewalk. What I mean by cakewalk, it's not easy, but it means that it can be done only in a fraction of 20-25 minutes, and which often like people criticize the same thing for being randomness or the luck or anything else. But a lot of preparation goes behind the having those scores of 180, 190, 200, and even 215 also, like the boards have started awarding in the recent times. So don't take this opportunity very lightly. You need to congratulate yourself, you need to be proud of yourself, but at the same time, you need to be considerate of the fact that there is an opportunity which lies in front of you and you need to make the best out of it. Secondly, use this interview preparation or the personality test which UPSC quotes as an opportunity to discover and explore yourself. Discover and your personality, who you actually are, what you like, what type of character you are, and how do you actually react in a certain situations. This is not an ordinary situation, this is an extraordinary situation, and for many of the people this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So you need to capitalize on this fact, and at the same time you need to, from today itself, you need to have each and every action of yours dedicated towards inculcating that personality which you feel is actually ready to join as a government of India as a bureaucrat. Thirdly, the notification of the UPSC explicitly mentions few qualities which are actually needed in a civil servant. What they are actually looking for. So they deliberately do not name this as an interview, quote unquote interview, but they name it as a personality test. So there is a lot of thought behind it. The thought is that those certain qualities are actually looked into a person who is an aspiring bureaucrat, at the same time is looked into a person who would serve our country, serve our people, serve our nation in the greatest of capability with the highest amount of integrity, uh, efficiency, alertness, critical thinking power, and etc. Fourthly, DAF is one aspect by which you can reflect your personality, and there are other aspects as well, like the way you speak, what kind of body language you have, what, even to the extent that what kind of colored suits or clothes you are wearing. uh, but first and foremost, it's something which is written, and it is with the board before you arrive, so they kind of build a perception based on the DAF. In DAF, as there are various columns, and they don't check any of the columns with respect to the evidences except the degrees and all. So you can choose whatever home state you have, whatever hobbies, whatever positions of responsibilities, anything else. However, it doesn't mean that you will be writing some random things, some random facts or anything. That since this DAF is actually based for an for a test whereby people are checking personalities of candidates who will join Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and rest of the Grade A services and Grade B services as well. So prepare DAF in such a manner that the qualities of your personality that you are going to showcase should be aligned with the requirements uh, of the of of a good, honest, integrity, resourceful bureaucrat. Let me repeat this again. Show those qualities of your personality, reflect those qualities of personality consciously and deliberately, which actually are looked into and sought into a good bureaucrat. This is not a single day process. Don't just sit here and fill the DAF. Think, have tremendous brainstorming behind it, not only internally but also externally. Think upon what kind of person you are and how you are going to modify that entry, or how you are going to express that entry into the DAF, so that if a question comes around it, you will be able to justify your that personality trait as a usefulness for a Indian administrative services. And while in all of this universe, I feel there are certain things a candidate must have in the DAF so that like it looks kind of fulfilling. Again, personality test is a very subjective game. Having a good DAF doesn't necessarily mean great marks, and having a bad DAF doesn't necessarily mean bad marks. I mean, there is no or limited proportionality, but having a good DAF ensures that you have a good perception before entering the room, and also you can build onto the good DAF as a certain talking points in the interview as well. Since the examiners don't know anything about you apart from the DAF, so it can serve as a good way of introduction. To, I mean, I call it as a preamble of your personality. So if you can think, quote, and fill it very consciously and justifiably, you can actually showcase how great of a person you are and how suitable and fitted you are to join the services. That the suitability and the fittedness is actually what I feel is looked into. In this, few things are needed to be taken into the mind. Firstly, your DAF should reflect a part of service orientation. It doesn't necessarily mean service towards the country, service towards the nation or something like that, but service in any form. It can be any kind of social activity that you may have indulged, or any kind of initiative, program, or something like that. So, social orientation must be there. And I'm not saying if you don't have, don't manufacture. It may backfire, but since I feel that most of us come from a long journey, somewhere or the other, we being someone who are like socially conscious, we tend to contribute back to society as well. We just need to think about what sort of personality and what sort of event of our life we were indulged into. Secondly, do reflect upon your leadership, because the column 7 and other aspects, leadership is a one aspect which is sought after. And since like the officers who join the services, they often are entrusted with the position which are of a leader. So do actually have certain kind of aspects, certain kind of points of leadership in your mind, and do use them. Third thing that a candidate can incorporate in their DAF is something which is related to physical fitness. Though exclusively civil services does not mention one of the qualities of physical fitness as a prerequisite in the personality test, but yes, of course, I mean, there is a fit person would be able to better serve a country than someone who is unfit. And I mean, yes, there are medical tests and all, but since few of the services have the field jobs, and then even the those who join as a IS, they are also required to work for 14, 15, 16 hours a day. And the persons who are part of the board do have this perspective in their mind that person needs to be fit as well physically to ensure that he is capable enough and he is well suited enough to join the service. And fourth thing that they look forward for is the awareness. So try and incorporate, rephrase, or build onto a into a vocabulary some kind of quality whereby your awareness and alertness is being reflected. And I know each one of you is alert, aware, and everything. But sometimes what we do is, why I'm listing down these things, because we tend to forget on what lines of, on what contours we need to think upon. So these are the four aspects I think which are very central, prominent into gathering your personality and filling up the entries. While gathering up the entries, think into your personality, have a window into it. Take long walks, go for long walks, think, brainstorm, uh, do whatever, chintan karo, manan karo, jo bhi karna hai karo, but think, don't copy DAFs, don't just write random things, because this can be a very well differentiating factor in how your interview goes. uh, I think that's it from my side. That's for the like the basic guidelines for it. And maybe what you can do is you can prepare certain entries, and then we would like discuss, fine tune, change few words here and there, uh, personally. And for the service preference and all, Naman will take the proceedings. Naman, your mic is off.
Hello, friends. So I'll start with how DAF-2 thing is to be filled. What all things are. The people who have given it earlier, they are aware of these things. But the people who will be appearing for the first time, they are not aware of these things. So first of all, I'll outline what DAF-2 actually looks like. So some of the things in the DAF-2 are pre-filled from the DAF-1. For example, this email, mobile, etc. The basic your photo, वगैरह. Then your basic background details, his mother name, father name, and all. These things are pre-filled from DAF1. Similarly, I think this also. You know. Now here I would like to point out, when you are filling the DAF2, you will be asked to fill up this socio-economic questionnaire. What is this? It contains two, three things. One is that whether you took help of any coaching or not, you know, in any of the stage, prelims, mains, or interview. And second thing also, what are your reasons for joining the civil services? For this, they will be asking you two reasons, I guess. And the reasons you will mention in the socio-economic questionnaire, remember those things, because socio-economic questionnaire will not come in the printout of your DAF2. But as Ravindran sir also used to say, and as based on my experiences also, I feel they have this socio-economic questionnaire with them when they have your DAF2, the interview board, the chairman sir. है ना? Generally what happens is chairman sir is having the complete DAF. This is what used to be in earlier times. But in later, when I was giving 2023 interview, I realized that all the five members were having the complete DAF. Earlier it was said that chairman sir is having the complete DAF, and the rest of the four members are having the summary of your DAF2. But this thing has changed now. I myself saw that each and every member was having the complete DAF1 and DAF2 copies of mine. So ensure that whatever things you are mentioning in DAF1, DAF2, and socio-economic questionnaire, you are aware of those things. For example, why I'm highlighting this? For example, in socio-economic questionnaire, you mentioned that service orientation is your reason to join the civil services, or you mention any other reason, for example, the power, prestige, and the social status, etc., etc. है ना? But when you are giving the answer, when you are giving the HR questions answer in the interview, है ना? And if you deviate from these things, they will catch it. The fundamental integrity. The If you yesterday I uploaded in the our group, Telegram group also, and it is clearly mentioned in the notification that intellectual and moral integrity is tested in the interview. And integrity starts from the your DAF, because the things you have mentioned, you will mention in the DAF, in DAF1 and DAF2 or socio-economic questionnaire. Those things are taken for the granted, that this is what the student or this is what the candidate is throwing us on our face. And if these things will not match with your physical personality on that day, or on those 30-40 minutes, then there is a high chance that they will consider that you are not a person of integrity, either intellectual integrity or moral integrity. So please ensure that you are aware of these things, that whatever socioeconomic questionnaire you are filling, you are aware of that. Take a note of 3-4 things which you will mention in this, and have note and remember those things. Second, the general thing is spelling mistakes. I have seen, even my friends have also done this. uh, when they are filling, they will not take care of these things because they will focus too much on service and cadre preferences, and they will do the spelling error mistake. And once you have submitted the DAF-2, the window of submitting the DAF-2 is over. You won't get the chance to update it again. So this thing, then the later on these things are obvious, letter, address and all. After this, here I want to mention that when you will submit DAF-2 na, they will ask the following documents from you. 10th class certificate they will ask for, to verify your age, है ना, whether you are whether you are underage or overage. So this certificate will be used to check your age. Then the graduation certificate will be used to check whether you are graduate or not. Your mark sheet, they will not ask for your mark sheet. We have two things when we have when we get the degree certificate. One is the general certificate that the person has done the graduation from our college, and has been awarded so and so CGPA. Second thing is we get the mark sheet for each semester. They will not ask mark sheet from you. They will only ask the certificate, and you have to take the copies of certificate, this age certificate, 10th class certificate. And third thing they will ask is your identity card. After that, if you are from the reserved category, they will ask the required documents, the reserved category document. And one more, if you and the fifth thing sometimes they ask is the travel allowances. For example, you want to avail the traveling expenditure, then you can they will ask for the tickets and all. These five, generally five things they will ask in the room.
And one more thing to add, there has been issue of affidavits in 2024. So if you have like change in name or some issues related to uh, difference in name on the certificate and the name which you have on your official cards, so please do make sure that you have that affidavit and complete the required regulatory requirements which are there.
It is very very important, because either with respect to your name, or with respect to your father's name, or with respect to your mother's name, or with respect to income certificate also, if you are availing the reservation benefits, then they will ask the details. Or do not panic when you are in the hall, when you are around the round table, before you enter into the interview room. They will ask for you the documents. And if you are not able to submit the required documents at that moment, they will give you the time to submit those documents afterwards also, till your final result and your service till your final result is announced. For example, in the month of May, final result will be announced. Before that date, you have to submit your all the required documents. So do not get panicked when you are in the round table and you are not able to give the documents, and ruin your interview. Second thing is this. Sometimes, for example, when I'm mentioning the subjects, uh, try to mention the subject which you like the most, or you want that the questions are to be you want the questions to be invited from that area, you know. So I deliberately mentioned maths in both the sections. And with respect to your graduation, you need not mention all the subjects. You can just mention the summary, which is mentioned in your certificate, college certificate, graduation certificate, you know. And here you will get the options of the divisions. Okay, here you will get the options of the percentage. Here you will get the options of the CGPA. So if your 10th class or 12th class had the procedure of CGPA or the percentage, accordingly you can fill it up here, and do check it, and ensure that you do a verification check through your friends after you fill it up. My recommendation would be, try to fill the DAF as soon as early as possible. Fill it up in the next 2-3 days, and then you can do on your own whatever research you want to do with respect to cadres or with respect to services or with respect to hobbies, but at least fill it up as a basic structure, so that in a hurry you are not filling up the wrong details on the last day of the submission. After that, this home cadre thing, you can choose home cadre of your own choice. They do not ask any documentary proof, or they will not ask any kind of proof why are you declaring your home state as this state as your home cadre. You can for example, you have been into the 3 states, 5 states, doesn't matter at all, you can choose any state. Or you can also do this thing that, for example, I've never been to Assam. I can also mention Assam as my home cadre, but if you do this, they will not ask you the documentary proof or etc and all. But if you do this unobvious things, and for example, I am mentioning the Assam, and in entire def Assam is not nowhere in my complete def 1 or def 2, then there might curiosity might arise, and they might ask you why Assam. But if you have been through for example, I have lived in Delhi also, I've lived in Haryana also, majorly in these two cadres, है ना? So I can choose any of them. They won't ask me the question why this, है ना? And generally this is done to bypass your cadre cycle, the cadre allocation cycle, which I will talk in some time, है ना? So this is section 7. With respect to section 7, you will have the 4 columns. One is with respect to the your academic achievements, more or less academic achievements, है ना? Or you can also throw the physical achievements, but more or less it is about academic achievements. Physical things you can mention over here. Sports, in this you can also mention NSS, as our seniors told us that we can mention NSS, so I also mentioned it. Then this is with respect to the leadership, as Nikhil was telling you and advising you. Try to incorporate some leadership role in your def. If not, if you do not have any genuine, then do not manufacture it. But still try to introspect and try to find out if you have any good leadership role. It can be anywhere in your, even in school. If you were a house captain, let's head boy, you can mention that, because that it is a position of distinctive leadership, na. You must be having a distinction that you had a particular leadership role where you were handling a large amount of people. So try to mention it. Then the fourth is with respect to extracurricular activities or your interest or hobbies means you generally tend to follow it, maybe weekly, not if not daily, maybe weekly or monthly or bi-monthly, but it needs to be followed. And interest means I have a interest, for example, I have interest in stock market, so it it is my interest. I may not follow it every time, but hobby is that thing which I generally follow, and I do not generally avoid it. I'm forced to do that, है ना? It shows your subconscious interest. This fourth column is about your subconscious interest, what interest you are following without your conscious efforts, है ना? So make sure you do not bluff here, because as I told, that they are checking the intellectual and moral integrity, and DAF is the first document where your integrity is checked. Do not manufacture it. And then these are the general guidelines which I wrote it. This is the general versus specific. General versus specific means, for example, if anyone, all of you are able to see this, na, है ना? Hmm. Hello, all of you are able to see this, ना?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. तो अब देखो इसमें I mentioned exploring Mahabharata characters through videos. So can you see that how specific I have made this particular hobby, and or this particular interest? How specific? I am mentioning I am not reading Mahabharata as a in general, and I am not reading Mahabharata in general. I am doing it for the character analysis. I am doing it from the perspective of ethicality, because Mahabharata is all about ethicality. Okay. Second thing, I'm not reading it, I'm watching videos on this. I'm doing this through the videos. So I'm trying to narrow it down as much as possible. I'm trying to narrow it down as much as possible so that they do not ask. At, we cannot stop them. They ask me the question on Ramayana after reading Mahabharata in actual interview, but we cannot stop them. But we should. It is advised that we should make it as specific as possible when we are mentioning our all these columns, all the four columns. है ना? Similarly, you can read this next: lyrical appreciation of Qawwalis of Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Why did I mention this name of Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and why did I mention lyrical? Because they might they might go into Qawwalis of some other singer, or they might go into this those musical tones, the musical aspects, the technical aspects of music. But I'm not aware of those things. I just used to appreciate the lyrics, that those lyrics are very heavy, and actually I used to do this so I can narrate the lyrics of all the songs. But I made it sure that I'm making it as specific as possible, so that they do not. I'm not trapped in a general questions. Third thing I mentioned, evening strolls for contemplation. Now I would have only written evening strolls. Now they can ask me, why do you do evening strolls? Evening strolls can be done for many things, but I mentioned that I used to do it for the contemplation and observation. And now I have to establish a linkage. Why contemplation and observation? You are just 23, you are just 27, 28 years old. Why are you doing this at such younger age? You know? So I have to establish a link that so and so things have happened in my life, and now I am contemplating and observing, and this is this. I hope everyone is getting what is the meaning of general versus specific over here. And second thing is triggers. Trigger means, for example, today I was looking at the DAF of this Utkarsh. Utkarsh mentioned that he was the fresher of the year in his college. He was the fresher of the year. He won first prize in that. But it is not appealing to me. I may not ask some questions. I am not. बहुत सारे बनते हैं, बहुत लोग बनते हैं fresher, मुझे क्या. But thus it his college was having a specific name for that, Mr. Odyssey. Mr. Odyssey, something different word. When I read that word, then I was triggered to ask the question, ki, what is this? Tell me, what is this? So try to drop some triggers, because why are we doing this? Uh, if if you do not mention things in your def, if we have genuine things, then we should definitely mention them, because we are trying to narrow down the syllabus of our interview. Else it can go to any tangent, and we might get trapped in for example, uh, if you are aware that Chobe sir, RN Chobe sir used to do this. He used to keep your defs side, and then he used to ask some random questions, some random 4 5 years ago contemporary affairs. So in that case you will be trapped. So to avoid those things, we will try to give as many triggers as possible in our def, so that we are specifically, we are not caught in their trap. We'll try to avoid that trap. You know, similar thing, specific general versus general,
I
like.
just I just wish to add one thing
Mm,
in here regarding the
mm,
triggers. I have a funny instance to narrate to. There is this friend of mine. He appeared in interview in 2021, and then the board started asking him about Nirvana. So he had like rock music or some music sort of thing in DAF. So he started talking about Nirvana as a band and Nirvana, and so it felt like that way. But again, the question come again. So it happened with three different board members at different is different instances. So later he realized that the address which he was writing on was like Nirvana Apartments, something something, and Jaipur. So I mean, triggers can actually come from not only from the
and
section 7 but the other
it
areas
is
as well.
it is a human psychology. If
Yes.
I if let suppose you people come to us and for one-to-one DAF session or one-to-one mock interviews, we do not know anything about you. We will look at your DAF. We will the if we find any new word in the DAF, it is a natural human curiosity to know what is it. So triggers actually work. It is based on human psychology. So try to drop triggers in your DAF that will try to minimize the syllabus of your DAF. Generally, it works. Generally, it works. If the board of the chairman of your board is not of different nature, है ना? And similarly, in this way, with respect to general versus specific, I mentioned this Captain Girnar chess team at IIT Delhi, है ना, of this year. I'm mentioning the year. Why? Because I'm making it specific. Why I'm mentioning my hostel name? Because I want to make it specific. Similarly, why I'm mentioning securing 1 gold and 2 silver medals? Because I want to make it specific. Again, mentored underprivileged class. This why I mentioned this underprivileged, because I want to make it specific. Why I mentioned this students for JE in Arohan teaching project of NSS. Why did I mention this Arohan? Because I want to make it specific. है ना? Because if I do not make it specific, नहीं, do not make it as इतना भी स्पेसिफिक नहीं करना है कि बिल्कुल ही आपके 2 दिन का काम हो खाली. It should be a big task, but it should be a specific task. It should appear that you are indulged into that as a regular activity and it can be done. ऐसा नहीं है कि आरोहण टीचिंग प्रोजेक्ट, इट वाज अ प्रोजेक्ट ऑफ 1 year, so I was engaged in that project, है ना? But now if they ask me that have you done this before 2012 or after 2016, I will say that no sir, I did this at that time only. After that I was engaged in other things of my life. So again, this all these things are ठीक है. Then the triggers I told, also then the genuine things, है ना? For example, this genuine thing, the महाभारत characters, है ना? वो और this उस्ताद नुसरत फतेह अली खान. अब I would have done this कि नहीं लिखता मैं सिंगर का नाम, है ना? या फिर मैं किसी और का जबरदस्ती लिख देता कि मुझे तो I'll try to manufacture my hobby, है ना? इसमें मैंने लिखा पोस्ट मेंस. पोस्ट मेंस का मतलब यही है कि डू नॉट थिंक दैट यू विल मैन्युफैक्चर अ हॉबी पोस्ट मेंस. आफ्टर मेंस यू कैन मैन्युफैक्चर अ हॉबी. They are a people of more than 60 years age. They can easily catch you if you try to manufacture it, and if you post means you will barely at max you will get 7 to 8 months, 3 months for this 3 to 4 months in this year. Then I'll suppose that you get the interview at the last 28th April, then you at max you can get is 7 to 8 months. In 7 to 8 months it is very tough to manufacture a hobby which 300 experience you cannot beat, है ना? Let's suppose you are writing a hobby of reading, है ना? I was reading the DAF of Utkarsh. He's mentioning reading self-help books. Now reading books you can never beat them, because आपकी उतनी उम्र नहीं है जितना उन्होंने रीड करी है बुकें, है ना? You are maximum of 30 एज, है ना? बट 30 साल से तो बुकें पढ़ रहे हैं. You cannot beat them, and those are not only one, they are a group of 5 people, and they are not only one person, they are a group of 5 people. So in the general hobbies there is a high chance of getting caught. That's why I'm saying that write the specific hobbies. Similarly, do not try to write a hobby that you will manufacture post means. And then next thing is जेन्युइन हो गया. सिंक, हाँ सिंक मैंने आपको बता ही दिया कि इवनिंग स्टॉल्स, इट इज इन सिंक विद माय लाइफ, है ना? इट इज इन सिंक विद माय लाइफ, दैट व्हाई आई एम डूइंग दिस. Your hobbies should be in sync with your other activities. It should not appear that, for example, I have mentioned chess, है ना? If you generally observe that outdoor activities, I have mentioned only this evening strolls. Most of my activities are indoor, है ना? But I hope you are getting it. All these things are in sync. Your hobbies or whatever, not only the section, all these 4 sections of all these 4 columns of section 7, your entire DAF-2 or your entire or your DAF-2 and DAF-1 both, or even socio-economic questionnaire, all the things should be in sync. There should not be a iota of doubt that the person has tried to manufacture these things. Next thing is 2 into 8. 2 into 8 means there are 4 entries, so try to mention not more than 8 entries in this. Try to mention not more than 8. Because why I'm saying this, first of all, you won't, there's a very low chance that you are having more than 8 genuine 8 entries to write over here. And second thing is, it becomes very tedious to prepare all those. For example, many of you will get interview in the first week itself. I got it, and when I in 2022. So when these things happen na, so it becomes very difficult to prepare all those things. And for example, I mentioned this chess na, even to prepare chess, matlab it will take at least 15-20 days to prepare, 15-20 days for me to prepare the chess as per the standards of interview. So do not mention more than 8. It is my advice. And you can leave the things blank if you do not have. And for example, you can leave the things blank, but it is up to you if you want to leave. And but do not leave all the things blank. And try to mention at least some topics to discuss. Try to mention sub triggers so that the person is triggered to ask you the question. Else, if you do not give the triggers, they will ask some random current affairs, or they have been reading newspaper for past 20 years, they can ask any topic to discuss. And it will be very difficult to uh, have a conversation with them. Why? Because why I'm saying this, because in mains, we whatever we were writing na, we were not cross questioned on those things. But in interview, you will be cross questioned. Whatever you say, your every sentence can be cross questioned from you. So it is very tough to maintain what you are saying if you do not write a genuine things. So try to maintain the things that are genuine, and try to write some triggers on the basis of those genuine, uh, your genuine entries. है ना? And try to give them some topic of discussion. All these things will, now from this comes the art of navigating your interview, trying to drop some triggers at the end of your answers, like we do in the essay. To continue the next paragraph, all those things will discuss later on. But with respect to filling up the section 7, these things I want to convey. If you want to ask anything, you can ask. There are one two things left. They won't ask any, they will not ask any documentary proof for any of the thing. For example, I mentioned this now, I've mentioned this 2 medals, they won't ask for it. Using your conversation skills, using the skills of conversation with you, they will try to gauge whether you are bluffing or you have a genuine things. You know? Or the postmates I've told you. And try to avoid school things. School things you can mention of a very higher order, for example, head boy or head girl. Apart from that, do not mention the things of school which are of very childish nature, or which are of very not significant things, which did not have any significant impact beyond your classroom. If your leadership role, or your price, anything which you are mentioning in the of the school na, that should have impact at least on your complete school, and or at least on your district. Then you can mention it. Otherwise it won't be as impressive as it can be. After this,
I just like wish to highlight 2 3 mistakes that people do make, since all of this is cumulative knowledge of all the uh, conversations that me and Naman had with with various people, and the one to one we had during our days. So first thing is like don't write which is of like current affairs or current value. So I mean, let me rephrase this. Don't write something which can be a topic for general studies discussion. It can be a bit vague, and also it can make you sink into the wormhole of preparing it. So there is this another candidate. He had written the hobby as interest uh, in the space, energy, and something sort of these things. So this space, energy, and the data technology, or whatever the 3 words, so it can open a plethora of things. So the trigger which we talked about, no, so it can go alternatively also. So like if let's say, fortunately or unfortunately, if you may came across board of Suman Sharma ma'am, then she may start with, to the extent of asking you about electric vehicles or to the energy or to that, to the extent that you won't even able to recall the factors of what are the, let's say, objectives of green hydrogen mission. You don't know. I mean, let's say 5 million metric ton or 50 million metric ton or 7.5 million metric ton, you won't be able to recall it because that's not the entire mode of preparation in that thing. So like, don't have. Or there was this another candidate who talked about studying about relationship between India and Pakistan. So if you are like generally interested, and if you can discuss to a person who has served in army for 34-35 years of age, then go ahead and write it. But apart from that, I always feel that these entries are made to have a peek into your personality, and unless and until uh, that these entries actually have a specific peek into your personality, avoid those entries. Secondly, like Naman said, don't write more than three entries. Three is at max for a section. Generally, those people who actually appear for the first time do make up this mistake of writing. They feel that writing more number of points means more number of marks. This doesn't work that way. It will just increase your burden. It will increase quote unquote syllabus for your interview. That's it. So don't do it. And you can go other way also. If let's say there are four entries of hobbies in your DAF, then I'm not going to ask questions from each one of it. I'll only ask questions at, I mean, at max from one. So what happens that the preparation and the working hours that you have spent on preparing all the three entries will actually go in waste. So to like ensure your efforts, be a bit smart and see the things which Naman and I are like talking about.
If anyone is having doubt with respect to section 7, they can ask, else I'll proceed to the cadres and services. Anyone?
So can leadership section and sports sections be left blank?
छोड़ दो, मतलब अगर नहीं है कुछ जेन्युइन तो बेटर ही है, छोड़ दो, लेकिन ट्राई टू, स्पोर्ट्स में एनएसएस तो किया, कुछ तो किया होगा।
सर मतलब मीगर सा 5 किलोमीटर मैराथन, लेकिन इट्स नॉट वर्थ मेंशनिंग।
कब किया था वो?
सर पिछले साल।
तो पिछले साल तो रिसेंट ही है, तो डाल सकते हो।
ओके सर, मतलब
मतलब
5 किलोमीटर ही था तो बहुत था नहीं तो
तो
लगा।
स्प्रिंट था वो, फिर वो होगा ना, तेज भागे होंगे।
हाँ यस सर।
हाँ, तो फिर वो ठीक है, कर सकते हो कि इट इज, मतलब इट विल शो दैट यू आर इनटू द दोस फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज आल्सो, मतलब इट इज, इफ इट इज ऑफ रिसेंट नेचर यू कैन मेंशन दैट।
ओके सर, और
But
लीडरशिप।
like one more thing, do you look like someone who can run
हाँ हाँ,
five
ये
kilometers? That is also matters. So
मतलब
another intriguing case. There is this one college junior of mine who was actually a part of weightlifting team, and then what he did, he was part. He won medals there, and then after that he got a shoulder injury. And then after 3 4 5 years of preparation, he had to like quit the bodybuilding and then started preparing for the civil services. And then I mean, you know, I know that the mains preparation can get a bit of, can make a, you can make you a bit of like horizontally wide. So he actually got horizontally wide and his weight actually gained a lot. But he not looking like a bodybuilder or someone who can lift weights actually backfired him. And that was his boards of Airfield Marshal Bhosle. So I mean, you can call it a game of chance or faith or whatever, but the there should be correlation between what you are writing and how you actually look.
ओके सर।
दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग ना, कि यू, देयर मस्ट बी अ सिंक व्हाट यू राइट एंड व्हाट यू आर, है ना। फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर राइटिंग चेस, है ना, एंड व्हेन दे आर कन्वर्सिंग विद यू, इट कम्स आउट दैट यू आर नॉट अ पर्सन ऑफ own thinking, you cannot think on your own. Now you cannot strategize, you cannot make a strategy, you cannot analyze, and you cannot make a, you cannot think of the tactics, and on the spot thinking, then they will easily catch you. that you cannot think. And but you are saying that you captained Girnar team and won the gold medal. How is it possible? Similarly, you mentioned the jogging, and but you look like you have not never done that. You are of more than 90 kg age. You are of more than 90 kg weight. Then it is very difficult that you are a person who do jogging every day. है ना?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? First timers may will have more questions. Yashika or Manan and Sanskriti. Xenoverse. Baki, if you want, the we'll have one to one DAF also. This is a general guidelines so that you have in some guidelines in your mind when you are filling up the things.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
I was a part of NSS. So, like, you have written NSS at two places.
नहीं वे
And
yes yes
you have written NSS and then volunteering for mentoring
yes yes
children.
yes yes yes.
Isn't it the same?
Here I mentioned because I was not having anything to write in the sports and NCS and NCC na, because I'm not into those physical activities, and I did not want to bluff. So I mentioned these the things of NSS of my college, and here I did not mention the specific things because I was not sure what I was sure ki I taught the blind students and all etc etc, but those things were very scattered in my memory. You know, if I would have written the specific things here, those things would have backfired. So to give a entry in this column, I wrote NSS. But this was the specific thing I did, and I had specific data because these things actually I did. So here I mentioned all the specific details that it was our own teaching project, and it was for the JE, it was for the class 11 and class 12 students, and it was for the underprivileged also, and it was mentoring, not teaching. So all the I tried to make it as specific as possible.
Okay, sir. Sir, can we write yoga in sports column?
लिख दो, वो भी फिजिकल एक्टिव तो है ही.
And in yoga also, do we have to be specific, like asana yoga and not? There are different types of yoga, like meditation yoga.
It's
So, can we write
my advice will be
specifically
that
as?
try to be specific. मतलब ये भी नहीं कि
Okay,
सूर्य नमस्कार ही I only do सूर्य नमस्कार. Do not mention only one. At least mention some part of the some section of the yogas. For example, you are mentioning there are 3-4 sections or there are 5-8 sections. Then you can say that I am more interested into this particular section of yoga or this particular branch of yoga.
okay, sir. Sir, also I do sketching. So,
Hmm.
can I write
हाँ
NC
sketching.
sketching?
Yes yes yes.
Because I don't do digital sketching.
हाँ तो
I only do
mention paper sketching.
okay, okay.
And usme bhi what kind of sketching, if you can make it more specific if it is possible, uh, then else it will also be suffice.
So I have to write about, like, I make face portraits or I make sceneries. That also have to specify in sketch.
You can, if it is, if it is true, then it is advisable to mention those things.
Oh,
Hmm. Because that
thank you,
will
sir.
those will serve two purposes. One is they will reduce your syllabus. Second, they will act as a triggers, because if you write sketching now, when you will see the DAF of 2,700 people now, you will find that more than 300-400 people have mentioned sketching. I won't be interested in asking the sketching because I have seen this in most of the DAFs. But when I will read your DAF now, that you do the portraits, jo bhi, you do this kind of particular sketching, then I'm more interested and I'm more triggered to ask the questions.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. ठीक है. Then I'll come to the this. First, I'll come to service. Wait, what happened? Hmm. In services, let there are we can divide the services in these 4-5 branches. One are these elite services, 5 services, and for which you actually have your mind makeup. कि I'll join these, है ना. Then are these account services. These are this is IS, IPS, IFS, income tax, custom excise. These are the 5 elite services. Then these 5 are account services, है ना. Accounting job, Indian audit account, Indian civil accounts, Indian railway accounts. This is IRMS bracket accounts. Earlier its name was IRAS, है ना. Similarly, Indian defense account services, Indian post telegraph account services, है ना. Then these are the group B services. Danix and Danips, it is a SDM of Delhi, it is DSP of Delhi, मतलब Delhi cadre, है ना, अगमुट cadre. And this is Pondix, मतलब Pondicherry वाला cadre, SDM of Pondicherry, and this is DSP of Pondicherry. You will have to look into what all states or what all union territories come under this Danix and what all come under this Pondix, है ना. But these are group B services. Then then there is one branch where these two services are also good services. Indian Defense Estate Services, it is equivalent to, he's a head of the cantonment, civil administration of cantonment, है ना. Defense के अंदर we have cantonments, and for those cantonment we have a civil administration in the name of IDES officers. Then this is traffic. Traffic is the most elite service of railways. My brother is in railways. He always says that in railways only 2 services have the most power. Number one are the traffic officers, Indian Railway traffic, IRMS bracket traffic. Then this account services. These are the most coveted services in railways. In railways, you must be aware, IRMS combined for 8 to 9 services, है ना. Last year when I was mentioning this IRMS, we had a club of all the services, and we were not sure which particular service we will get under IRMS, because it was having a broad umbrella, all the engineering services, all these traffic accounts, or this one RPF, or all those things, and we were unsure which service, or this personal services, Indian Railway personal services is with respect to the staff management of railways. So we were unsure, so that's why I personally kept the railway services below some important services, है ना. But now specifically you can mention these traffic services at the 6th or 7th position. It is very 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 powerful service. And Indian Railways accounts and defense accounts, these are also powerful, है ना. Then these are some other services. Generally, if you will get these services, you will appear for the exam again. This is Indian Information Services with respect to media. Those PIB officers, है ना, those who manage PIB and all. This is Indian Postal Services. Post is gaining the momentum again, so this service is also getting some traction. This is Indian Trade Services, and this is ICLS. This is Corporate Law Services. They work in tandem with the corporate companies. This IT, yes, I got them repeated. ITS, this is same. And this is AFHQ. This is the lowest priority service. We will always fill it at the last. It is a Group B or Group C services, and it is not, it is very bekar service. So under this इसमें you have to decide the order. It is a personal preference, है ना. If you ask me, based on my experience and based on Nikhil's experience also, IS is always on the top, unless you have a specific preference for IPS and IFS, and that preference can be logically argued, and it should not be emotional. It should not be emotional case that I am emotionally charged for the IFS officers or IPS officers. I want to wear the uniform and all. Keep those angles aside. If you have any logic that IPS is better than IS, you can prefer, but IS is always best. Why I am saying so? IS is having everything you can think of, and they are always the boss everywhere. In each department, whenever they will go, they will always be the boss, and wherever they will be posted, they will always be the boss. Second, they handle variety. As we say that why do we join civil services? Because of diversity of the jobs. They handle all the diverse jobs. They have a very transformative powers. All the kind of powers you can think of, they have all the powers. Promotion are very fast promotion. In some states, in some cadres, you can become DM in 4 to 5 years. And these 4 years include your training period, है ना. Then in 9 years you will become deputy secretary. In 14 years you will become director. Then 18 years joint secretary. The promotion are the fastest amongst all the services. So IS is best. Then IPS, comparing IS with IPS, the difference becomes very very large between the services after this SP phase. SP is the head of the district, DM is also head of the district. Na? But after this SP phase, the difference between IS and IPS, the powers of IS and IPS, it will become very large, very large. So that's why we always say that IS is always preferred. IFS is the IFS is for those who want to live a glorified life, and they genuinely are not focused on the local things. They do not want to work on the ground. They want to be in the office, or they want to travel a lot, and they want to work for the larger picture, for the larger vision. For that, that's why it is a foreign service. They work for the as a larger interest for the country. Then this traffic and this income tax and customs excise. Income tax, we know that those this digitalization things are happening, but still the posting of income tax officers, they take place at the metro cities, and the posting wise and the promotion wise, they are very good in this custom accounts. The early, in before 10 15 years before this date, the enrollments, matlab this enrollments in the custom excise services were very large. So that's why now the promotions are stagnated in the custom excise. That's why the income tax officers are having faster promotions. But with respect to diversity, custom excise are having more diverse opportunities to work with. They can work at the ports, they can work at the customs, you know, they can work with the GST, they can work with the narcotics, and they also have some policing powers due to the that's why they wear the they have a specific policing uniform also. But IT is having the charm of being the elite job, and having the public interaction more, and having the metro cities promotion and all. So you can compare which service to put at the fourth or fifth. So you have to decide the order amongst these five. Do not try to break this. Try to maintain that the first five services are these only. Then then Indian audit in account services, or this audit account is the best services. Why it is best? Because it they work under the directly under the CAG, Comptroller Auditor General, and they have the very fast promotions. Also they also uh, generally they live near Delhi only, and a very fastest promotion, just like IS. I told you that IS gets promoted around every 4 years, 5 years. Similarly, IAAS, they will get promoted. Also, there's a scope to switch to private after some time in IAS. In other services, if you leave the job, there are no perks, there are no incentives to leave the job, because you will be of no use if the government does not acknowledge you. But in IAS, you will learn those skill sets which will help you to work in the private as well. So there are very good exit opportunities in audit and account services. Also, this again, we work under the CAG, so there is a possibility that we can reach to that level after some time. After 16 years, we can become the head of the state. You know, just like CAG is head of the center, we can become head of the state after 16 years in IAS. Then the civil accounts is the services for all the departments, all the civil departments, है ना? Leaving the railways and defense departments, all the other departments come under ICAS. Indian Civil Account Services. The posting of ICAS are generally around Delhi. So if you want to be around Delhi, then you can prefer these services. And it is as the name suggests, all these services are accounting services. So they are desk based jobs. If you want the field jobs, you can prefer this Group B services over these. But if you want the desk based job, then this railway account services, I've told you, this is my brother's personal experience, that in railways two services are most powerful: the traffic services and account services. They handle huge amount of funds, so they have a very 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 powerful position. They are respected a lot. Similarly, defense account services, this IPTAF, this is not a good service, not a great service to be. So we generally avoid this service. Then Danix and Danips, if you want the field interaction and if you want to feel that power aspect, you know, but you are, if you can go away this group A tag, group A and group B, there's a big difference. Group A and group B, the promotions are very slow. Promotions are, for example, in 20 years also, there is a very less chance that you will become DM. So you will have to work around 15 to 20 years being an SDM only, and you will be also there are many UTs and many different territories to work under this Danix. So there are some negatives of these services, but the positives are you are the SDM, you have the power, and you can actually work if you want to, with respect to the local people on the ground.
Uh,
Dan
One more thing I want to add with respect to Danix and Danips is there would be a great chance that after 6, 8, 10 years of service in Danix, there will be a younger officer like yourself who will be DM in your cadre. So there can be a bit of ego clash. So please, if you are like, if you come from someone who has ego issues or cannot handle someone giving orders who is much younger than you, then I would say ki please look into these factors while choosing services as well.
we are sharing our perspectives of the services. After this, you can ask your doubts, है ना? I hope everyone is getting. Now, with respect to Danix and Danips, in earlier attempts, I used to keep them together, but in later attempts in 2023, I separated both the services. Danix I preferred at 8th or 9th or 10th position, but in Danips, I kept at the lowest position, 17th or 18th. Why? Because being a SDM, I can be SDM for 18 years or 20 years, you know, because as I told you that IS and IPS, they have very difference, very large difference in terms of powers, in terms of responsibilities, in terms of diversities they can work. So I was like, I can work with respect to developmental roles. I would be happy to work for the developmental roles for 15 to 20 years if I'm given the opportunity. But working as a DSP in the crime capital, or the places where there are very high chances of crimes occurring every day, है ना? And also we will be DSP level, है ना? We'll be the DSP, will not be the SP. We can delegate the duties, but DSP needs to be on the spot whenever the crime happens. So personally, it was my personal take that I cannot do this job for 15-20 years in Delhi, है ना? So this difference I created after in my third interview. Then Pondix, this is with respect this was due to my personal inclinations, that I am from North India, so I cannot go to South having three different states, three different languages, and that too with the group B services. So I kept them at a last. IDS, I told you, IDS is good service. With respect to civil administration, you will be at, for example, my brother is this in railways now, so he's almost the head of civil administration. So all those, the construction activities, all those things, he has the power. So I can relate when you have the civil administration power of all the area under you. So you can actually create an impact. So IDS in that sense is good, but do keep in mind that what are the latest changes with respect to cantonments the government is doing. Traffic, I told you, traffic is the best service. After, I feel that it should be kept at seventh position after IAAS. Audit account is still better than traffic, because ordinary account we will have the perks and we have the opportunity to switch to private if we want to in the later stages. Personal is in the railways we have the three services now, four services actually. This RPF, personal, traffic, and accounts. All these four, out of all these four services, traffic is the best, then accounts, then I'll prefer personal, and then railway police protection force. This is nothing but the police of the railways, you know. They have to, they deal with those policing jobs of the railways. For example, all the theft, all those policing jobs, patrolling, and all these things are dealt with. dealt by RPF. Personal services means the staff management, and when the staff comes, we all know that those union baji will come, and the union baji you will be you lead a very hectic life. So my personal inclination was that I'll avoid this. Well, I'll not avoid this in comparison to these other services, but in all, when I'm comparing all the four railway services, then I'll prefer traffic and accounts over personal. Then with respect to these services, you can fill them as you like. Postal you can pick up. Uh, Postal you can pick up out of these. AFHQ should be the last. And now, if you want to ask with respect to services, you can ask. Mm, अच्छा इसमें also these things promotion I told you है ना promotion things I've told you. Work life balance also matters a lot. For example, in IAS, although we have a very high diversity and a high amount of power to deal with, है ना, also we can have a those that satisfactory level, है ना, those that feeling of satisfaction that actually what we want to do we are able to do, है ना. So with respect to that, if you want to have that feeling, but when that feeling will come only only after sacrificing your work life balance. So the more the responsibility, like we say, more responsibility, more power, more responsibility, yeah. So in IS, if you are getting more power, you will also be having more responsibility, and you will have to sacrifice your work life balance. So when you are giving this priority for the services, consider these things in your mind, because these things, you might not be considering work life balance as a very good factor, but in later stages of your life you will realize that it is an important factor, because right now you are in the aspirant stage and you think that nahi nahi abhi josh hai, but when you will get married and all those things, and you will get into this family life, then you will realize that these things also matter a lot. So with respect to these things, you can think about the promotions, how fast your promotions are. Like the Nikhil said, in Danix the promotions are very slow, and if you have those ego problems, then it will become very difficult with you to manage. This appear again, I told you that if you are ICAS officer, you can appear again. And with respect to some services, they do not allow to appear again. For example, these things you must be knowing, na, that IAS and IFS, if you join these two services, these are most coveted services. If you join these two services, you are not allowed to give the exam again. And if you get IPS, you can give the exam again, but you cannot change your cadre. I hope everyone is getting what I'm saying. For example, you get the Chhattisgarh cadre of IPS and you join that, and you want to change your cadre, you appear again. You cannot take the police services again. Whatever service you got in the last second, that will continue, and your cadre will also continue. You cannot change your cadre. But it is unlike Indian forest services. In forest services, you can appear again to change your cadre, but in police services, you cannot. And if you have joined IAS and IFS, you cannot appear again. And with respect to other services, for example, in customs or IT, there is some rule that you cannot appear again, or they do not allow to appear again. And in this audit account and civil accounts, I think they allow. In audit accounts, there is some rule that they have the limitations to appear again. So with respect to this, do take note of the latest changes they are doing with respect to appearing again for the exam. And because there's a high chance, if you do not get these three services, you will appear again. And after that, this center versus power, these things I have told you in the Danix. Whether you like the perks of center or you like the power. For example, in SDM, you will be having a power to change the lives. Actually, that is very satisfying, because I have my friends who are working as SDM, and I have seen how good they can work, and how many opportunities they are having to actually work. But that comes at a cost of sacrificing the perks of the center. What are the perks of the center? For example, those medical benefits and all those things, the faster promotions. These things will come in your mind when you will enter the family life. All these things do not come in the when you are in the aspirant stage, but these things do play a role as a deciding factors. So these are the factors as per me. If you have any doubts, you can ask with respect to services. Any doubts? Sanskriti, Manan, Yashika, all your DAF are sorted, or you'll ask in the one-on-one sessions. Cool. I'll move to the cadre. Then,
Hello, sir.
हाँ,
Sir, in the NCC and sports,
हम्म,
can I write like cyber security awareness walkathon?
हाँ, लिख दो. It is a good trigger to ask. But
Okay.
you must be aware what you are writing and what questions can arise from this, है ना?
Yes, sir.
It is a very hot topic, and definitely the questions will be asked. If
Yes,
and if you are lucky, the news may be around the corner around your interview date, so they will definitely ask.
yes, sir.
With respect to this, I got important point. For example, you are writing the awareness week or something else, na? The role you played. So it's not always possible to write the things in under the leadership section, na? Whenever you are mentioning the entry in your def, that can also serve as a leadership position, or that can also serve as a management position you have worked in. And in that position also they can ask. For example, when I was the mentoring this 11th and 12th students, although I was not per se the full leadership, I was not the head of the our own teaching project, I was the local head, you know, but still they I had some people to manage. I had the staff of 10-15 teachers whom I had to manage, whom I had to allocate the work, you know, the roles and responsibility. So with respect to even those small roles also, they can derive the leadership skills you are having or not. So always, matlab, I told you na, the things are to be in sync. Always think what things you have mentioned in the def and how they can be related with the other entries of your def. For example, I have mentioned the following entries are in my def, है ना? A chess, IIT, and this JE, and this evening trolls. Now, if the interviewer reads any of the news relating to all of these, or any one incident which relates to all of these, he will definitely ask me. The news entry which relates with larger amount of the entries in your def, है ना? More entries it relates to, the higher probability that it will be asked. They have a high tendency to link 3-4 entries and frame a question. ठीक है? This I told you earlier. They will ask for the your ID, 10th certificate, and college certificate. And apart from this, your reservation benefits, reservation certificates. ठीक है? With respect to cadres, I have to make following points. One is this whatever home cadre you are deciding, that has to be first. That has to be first in respect to zone one and choice one. It has to be Z1 and preference one. It cannot be changed. है ना? If you do not keep it as first, it will not be allotted at all. Wait for us. Sorry guys, uh, where I was. If you have to keep sure, you have to ensure that whatever home cadre you are choosing, that has to be Z1 and preference one. It cannot be Z1 P2, or this, it cannot be somewhere else. It has to be first, at first position. If it is not at the first position, you will not be awarded it at all. For example, I want this, I want to be, I have been in Delhi and Haryana na, and let's say I want Haryana cadre, and I've seen that with respect to this vacancies, or with respect to the cadre vacancies, I have seen that there are very less vacancies in Haryana in general category. So to bypass this, है ना, I'll try to manage that. I mentioned I'll try to manipulate the cadres so that I get the Haryana cadre. I'll get them the preference which I want. But if you try to be over smart, they will catch you, or the allocation cycle will catch you. You cannot fool them. Whatever cadre you are choosing, it has to be first. But if you have seen that Haryana is not having the seats, and you will not get it at all, है ना, eventually you will not get it because there are no seats in general category or in your respective categories. Then what you can do is that choose it as a this home state, है ना, and we know that we will not get it. So whenever the cycle will this allocation cycle of cadre will run, this is your first preference, but there are no seats under this, so this will be skipped and you will move on to other. Similarly, this thing where we do in this also Sikkim trick. Sikkim, what do we do in Sikkim? We generally see that there are no vacancies in general category in Sikkim cadre, or it comes every third or fourth year. So what do? We place it at the first position so that whenever the allocation cycle will come, first this, first this, first this. Then when this will come, there are no seats, and we will jump on to the next zone. So these tricks people play, but play them at your own risk. They are smarter than you. They can outperform you, है ना? Also, this you cannot leave any cadre as a blank. What does it mean? For example, I want that I do not want this Nagaland cadre at all, है ना? So I'll try to leave it. I will not give any preference to this cadre. I'll try to be smart and I'll not give any preference to this cadre. But if I do this, my whole preference list will be considered null and void. I cannot leave any cadre. I cannot even a single cadre, and I cannot leave as a blank. I have to give preferences to all. If I try to leave any of the cadre as blank, my whole this preference list will be considered null and void. And what will happen? You will be awarded the cadre at last after awarding cadre to all the other candidates. So it will eventually turn out that you will get the cadre on the random basis. So you have to give preferences to all the cadres first. Second thing, you have to choose your home cadre as first preference, zone preference one, preference one. You know? Then after this, general guidelines with respect to IAS and IPS cadres are: IAS cadres, we try to look for those cadres which are underdeveloped. Why? Because in IAS we get the powers for the developmental purposes, and the states which are less developed, they will give us the more opportunity to work. So we try to choose those cadres. Second is the politics versus bureaucracy. How cordial are the relation between these two in that particular state? For example, Rajasthan is having a good relations in both these. uh, MP is having a good relations, and Maharashtra is also having good relations. So likewise, you have to research on your own with respect to cadres. That's why I was saying in the group also that cadres and service preferences, they take a toll on you when you have to decide them. They take most of your time. So you have to research each and every cadre. What actually position of the development is there? What actually is the position with respect to this their relationships? Then what is the size? If the state is having a large size, then you will have the more opportunity to work because it will have a variety of the things. It will have a variety of the areas to work. Then the another thing is deputation. Also, some people consider it because when you will get married, or when you will want that your children should be in particular school, or you should be in particular state, or on, or etc etc, then in those cases deputation comes at handy. So these things are considered at after you start a family life. Then it's the closeness is where I live in North India, so I'll prefer the states which are close to my state. Then Sikkim and Delhi, Haryana, I told you these are the tricks. Similarly, you can play the tricks, but you have to do the proper research before playing those tricks. Second is this procedure and reserved. I forgot what does it mean. It will come when I'll tell other things, na? So with respect to IS, I told you prefer non-underdeveloped state, Prefer the states where the polity and both bureaucracy have cordial relation. Prefer the larger size states. And then this closeness and deputation. These are low priority points, but this is the most priority point, and this is the most priority point. With respect to IPS, there is a major only one major factor of commissionerate system. Commissionerate system. Why commissionerate system? Means that the state is developed enough that crimes will happen more. For example, Delhi, it is having a commissionerate system. In Gurgaon, I think we have a commissionerate system. In Faridabad also we have commissionerate system. Similarly, in other states also, in Maharashtra we have a commissionerate system. And some states are having a commissionerate system, and some states, more districts of some states are having commissionerate system. For example, Maharashtra, there are more number of districts having commissionerate system. So wherever there is a commissionerate system, we will have more power. Why? What kind of power? We will have some powers of DM equivalent to DM with us, being an SP, because what that is exactly the difference between SP and DCP. DCP means Deputy Commissioner Commissionerate of Police. The SP means Superintendent of Police. SP is having lesser powers than DCP. Why is it so? Because in commissionerate system, the crimes happen at a faster pace, and to contain those crimes, we have to act fast, and we cannot always go to the DM for the permissions for small things. So those powers are given to the DSP, DCP. That's why commissionerate system we have the more quantity of powers. So prefer those states, and look out how will you find which states or which districts are having commissionerate system. Go to the Google, you will find this. So prefer those states which are having the more commissionerate systems. And similarly, or you can look with respect to size or the polity and those, but those things will come at a low priority. This is with respect to cadres. Now you have to do your own research. You cannot go with the preference orders of others. I have told you the general guidelines, है ना? But the rest of things will be your personal preferences and your personal research, or the latest updates. For example, these things I filled up in 2023. There might be some news in 2-3 years now. So according to those news or according to those updates, you have to change. If you have any doubts, you can ask with respect to cadres. Any doubts? ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद there is one section of work experience also, है ना? So work experience, try to mention if you have, and even the experience of 1 month will work, and but do not mention this coaching experience. I worked as a evaluator and etc etc. Those things do not go in sync with the interview process. Or try to specific, as I told you in the column 7, second 7, try these will act, they will act as a good justification for your gap years. For example, there's a person, he's having a gap years of 2 years gap, है ना? But his gap years are justified. Why? Because for those 2 years he was formally working under a company, and then he gave the exam in 2022. He worked for 2 years. He gave in 2024 again, and now he's appearing for interview. Now his gap years are justified. What was he doing for 2 years? He was working. He started preparing, and now he's giving interview. Also, with respect to self-employment, you can also add those things as a work experience. Those things all are also accepted. These are the general guidelines with respect to the entries. If you have any particular or the specific doubts with this, to customize as per your needs, you can ask us one to one, or you can ask us here also. These are the things. And do keep in, when you are filling the services, do keep in mind about this actual breakup. I have heard that this total vacancies have changed. Earlier it was 900 something, now it is 1000 something. So look at these things, how many vacancies are under this your respective categories, and how many are the total vacancies. For example, I told you IRAS is having is a good service, accounts or traffic, and traffic Traffic is having a total for 11 and 7 under unreserved. Counts IRAS. IRAS is having 9. Personal is having 5. So IP TAF is having 20. IFoS is having more. IDAS is having 20, 30. This is good. It is a good service. IAS, this is 28. This is also good. It is having good. है ना? So likewise, for example, also this Danix and Danips is having more service, more vacancies. So likewise, this AFHQ, you will have to keep it at last, no matter what. It is a group B or group D services, group C services, not a good service. If you have any questions, else we'll close. If Nikhil wants to add something, then no doubts as of now. बाकी will have also have this one-to-one in mock वाला तो will take it है ना. But if you with respect to DAF filling also, if you want to if you want to get your entries as rephrased है ना, you want to rephrase your entries. For example, you are mentioning something as a hobby and you want to rephrase it, then you can always DM us or you can get in touch. We'll have a one-to-one call also. If any general with respect to general guidelines you are having any doubt or with respect to any logic, you can ask. Amaran, you were saying something.
Sir, it is silly doubt. Like our district name has changed from Ahmednagar to Ahilyanagar. And in the form, when the prelim form was filled in January, I have written Ahmednagar everywhere. So
नहीं वो तो अभी लेटेस्ट न्यूज में हुआ है ना चेंज.
हाँ सर, मतलब अभी 1 साल के पहले ही हुआ था जब इलेक्शन था तभी.
हाँ तो फिर तो बाद में हुआ ना, तो बाद में चेंज हुआ तो वो इट विल बी आस्क्ड, इट कैन बी आस्क्ड, बट यू डू नॉट हैव टू वरी अबाउट दिस थिंग कि इट इज चेंज नाउ, आई डू नॉट हैव द ऑप्शन टू चेंज इट. वो तो ठीक है, बाद में चेंज हुआ, इट गॉट चेंज आफ्टर यू फिल्ड इट अप, but do prepare it as a question. They can ask why names are changing, why do we need to change it, or all philosophical aspects also.
और वो अहिल्याबाई होलकर उसके उनके नाम पे है तो फिर
हाँ तो all those things. Now with respect to preparing the DAF na, we will be having a separate session, how to generate questions from your DAF. This is specific with respect to the filling up the DAF, but that is also a very important task and also a good task if you, and also a tedious task if you do not have a good mentor.
Yeah, okay.
Any other? Shashank sir, you can also help other. You have also given, and SK also has also given interview earlier na. If you want to add, you can add with respect to your experiences.
No, sir, I think you have already covered in very detailed manner, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Nice. And SK, if you also want to say.
Yes, so most of the things are covered. I don't have much to add. Thank you for the session.
Okay, guys, then we'll close. If you have any one-to-one doubts with respect to filling, you can approach. We'll schedule with respect to preparing in some days. Because अभी तो filling ही करोगे आप लोग, तो filling में you go and do your own research with respect to cadres, with respect to services. But do ensure that you make a draft fill up in coming 2-3 days, so that you do not fill it up in a hurry at last. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck, guys. Okay. Good night.